Make sure you listen to my daddy's podcast right now. It's the best show in the world.
And this is the Cards Face Up podcast, and I am your host, Mr. Ty Hill. Today, we got another special episode. Y'all know how I like to do it with these I Declare War segments. It's those moments of nostalgia. It's those moments of history. And this one is straight from the home team. You understand what I'm saying? Today's guest is no stranger to the spotlight. You know why? Because he's been doing this shit for a couple decades now. And I'm talking about 20, 25 years, 30 years. His hip-hop name stands for Master of Unorthodox Lyrics Leading You. He's a personal trainer. He's a motivator. He's a motivational speaker on and off the mic, a producer, a promoter, an activist. I'm talking, he's a manager. He still holds the record for being Baltimore's most MTV Jams seen hip-hop artist. Yes, even today, the nigga still hold that record. Not only that, he hailing all the way from West Baltimore by way of Atlanta right now. When I say West Baltimore, I'm talking Bitlow and Riggs area, you know, to be exact.
Let's go.
And today's guest, let me just tell you, he goes by the name of Mully Man. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Hey, bro, that was the hardest intro of any fucking show I've ever been on stage, podcast, whatever, bro. Yo.
I appreciate it, man. It was the easiest intro. It was easy. We just talking about a legend here.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Look, let me tell you like that. That was so crazy. We could just stop right here, yo. Like, that's all y'all niggas needed to know. We out.
No. Look, man, it is an honor. It's a pleasure, brother, to even have you on this platform, man. And I know
appreciate you, bro.
I'm gonna do something different, something that I've never done on this platform. I allow the fans to kind of control this show. And what I mean by that, not just fans, I like to call them our supporters, our family, but this is the Mully Man family. I posted it on social media and I said, yo, y'all give me the questions and I'm going to answer. I'm going to ask him them questions. So they got some questions for you. I'm going to mix mine in there, but I got a lot of the questions from the fans. So we're going to get right into it. Who influenced Mully Man to become this MC that wanted to jump on the stage and rock mics and be that little strong built voice and that who created that Mully Man? I know it had to be somebody with a short man complex. Somebody with a short man complex. Who inspired?
No. That was funny as shit. Yo, hold on, yo. But no, like this is what happened, bro. You know, I'm from that era, bro. You know, I'm from that era with them classic artists like Rakim. You know, if that's the short man with the complex that did it, you know what I mean? It might have been Rakim, but I come from that era of KRS-One. I come from that era Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, and I used to have LL Cool J. I used to have these artists on my wall, and literally imagine in my room on Bitlow and Riggs one day of being the greatest MC. So you know how they say that golden year of 88? I started rapping. I started rapping at 85.
Hey, I was one, nigga.
Right. You was one and I was the one. You know what I mean? So we, you know what I'm saying? Numerology was working in our favor,
there.
Bro. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and I'm gonna tell you, so that the 80s inspired me because that was where the culture was being birthed and influenced and forming, and we was gravitating towards it because it was something new, it was something fresh, and it was something that voiced who we were coming from the hood or more difficult areas, you know, that we come from. It was our voice, so I embraced the culture and the voice.
Got you, and you just got up in it and went full throttle in. When I say full throttle,
hey, yo, that's what she said. That's what she said.
That's what she said too. He did the close up. Y'all got to see that. But niggas that's just watching, listening to this on the audio, make sure y'all watch the YouTube too. He just did the whole close up. That's what she said. But no, listen, right? You jumped right into it full throttle,
right? And
you gave us hit after hit.
Thank you.
Those hits was monster hits. We talking, they had big names on them. We talking Mully Man featuring me, Memphis Bleak, which is one of my favorite Rockefeller artists. I know everybody think Bleak is just Jay-Z little homie. Bleak is one of my favorite rock artists. Gave us that. Then you gave us the Mully Man Buck on him featuring Freeway. Then you gave us the Mully Man featuring Fat Trell.
Right.
How the hell did you, and I think this is more of an inspirational question or more of an inspirational thing to the listeners that also got these dreams. So how did you as a local artist trying to get on end up with these big ass placements?
All right, so you got to understand, a lot of things start in the mind, right? So I've always believed it could happen. And at that time, it's crazy you was with Sonny Brown yesterday, because me, him, and Will, like, you know what I'm saying, around that time, you know, we was over there with, you know, with Star Status, but we was MLU. And we would just sit around and just think of different things and different things we could do. And yo, it's crazy how belief will make you move in a certain direction. And then it seems like as you moving, things just start coming together. So it was like, as we was moving, bro, it was like, I was doing what I was supposed to do and they was doing what they were supposed to do. And then the people, the big names was just cooperating. It was like the stars was just aligning, bro. You know, they basically was like, yo, stay consistent in that studio, do what you do. And I basically was telling them, like, yo, I need y'all go hard and believe and do what y'all do as far as networking and being out there and talking to these artists and making them believe in the movement. And when they say teamwork makes the dream work, it's always bigger than you. As long as you always understand that it's bigger than you, no matter who get the most credit, it's the people around, even Star Status, just the environment of camaraderie. It strengthens you enough to make your energy strong enough that by the time someone gets in front of an artist to ask the question, what would be the business to work with you? It has to make sense. So basically teamwork was making the dream work, baby. And they was picking up on that Baltimore, and like the Baltimore energy's hot now, but they was picking up on it then when it wasn't so cool to rap as a Baltimore guy. When it wasn't the popular thing, or they didn't really know what a Baltimore artist meant. So, I could try to name all the people, but everybody collectively in my life prepared me for the moment that the question would be posed to ask a national artist, am I worthy of doing a song with them and to give this alley-oop for me to dunk? And the answer was yes, because my experience all the way up to that point got a yes for that question.
That's deep. And just speaking of MLU, Major League. Speaking of that, rest in peace, Mr. Wilson. You feel me? OG.
Yeah, my big
Brown.
brother.
Shout out to Sonny Brown. What was the setup of Major League like? Because what were y'all looking for as a company when y'all were doing this? Because a lot of times I honestly didn't feel like Mully was trying to get a deal sometimes. I felt like y'all was literally, y'all started looking like a real label already.
Right.
Like we need the backing from the machine. Like y'all was moving like nationally, MTV. Right. I mean, Mr. Wilson and Sonny and them got old videos back then. So to see it get reinvented with the Mully Man movement and have more power, more understanding, you got the OGs behind you. What was the idea or what was the mentality of what Major League was going to be? Were y'all trying to shop it as a label or just shop Mully Man as an artist?
It was crazy because before I started to get pushed as an artist, Sonny Brown was actually the first artist on Major League. And Sonny Brown, I believe, ended up getting locked up. And then my cousin Will, I was like, yo, I got a homeboy, Black Low. Yo, you should rock out with him. And while Sonny was locked up, he was doing this thing with Black Low. They was pushing the stuff too. And then I think Black Low got locked up. I think he got locked up too. So then it was like, it came to a point where I was doing my Mike Gross's thing back then with my cousin Ice of Iceland Organization. But at that time, I was wanting to expand more outside of Baltimore with the vision. But he was like, had so much going on in the town that I was like, damn, I felt like, all right, I want to do a little bit more. So I started talking to my cousin. He was like, yo, it's the perfect time. Let's just see what happens if we work together. So me and Will started moving. And then it was like, Sonny come home, Low come back home. My sister Nick Styles, we over there with Wilson, Omar Little and them, NIT niggas in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was like, we was going we was figuring it out, bro. And I think the vision was to be as big as we could be and to do all we could do without really knowing what to do. Mm. And it's crazy because when you come from a place where there's no business set up, there's nobody who could show you how to do it, what do? Do you stay still or do you start moving? So if you don't like where you at, what do? You move. We just started moving, bro. And as we was going, we just thought we was just figuring it out. Another thing. Okay, we got this feature, maybe we can get another feature, maybe we can get another one. We put them on the album. We do something that's never been done. Now, next thing you know, you sitting on 3-4 major features, on my first album. And it was crazy because for me, anybody that knows me, that knows I'm about my team, I'm about my city, I'm about that Mully in the world. You know what I'm saying? So Mully Mania was a movement for all my Mully Maniacs, people that was riding, family, friends, fans, to just represent every homie that died, every homie that got locked up, every young lady that got pregnant young, everybody that dream was deferred, every underdog, everybody that was told they couldn't do it. Baltimore who said just wasn't it, just wasn't the town. Nah, y'all don't got no hits. Y'all don't got the sound. Y'all don't have what it takes. You know what I'm saying? That's where the moves was coming from, bro. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a situation where you feel like the world is telling you it's no way, we from Baltimore, we gonna find a way.
You definitely found a way, man. And not just because you my brother, you feel me? We watched you as an artist, and I'm younger. We got a chance to look up to you. We got a chance to see how that shit was moving. And I'm gonna tell you, you held your weight with some real fucking heavy hitters. And those songs, even though we say, that's big placement, national celebrities and shit like that, we never felt like that in Baltimore. It was on some shit like nigga Bleak on the song with Mully, Free on the song with Mully, not Mully on the song with Free. Like in the Baltimore vouch, like this shit got it. You made yourself look good, my nigga. It was one of those moments in time that it needed to be done. We needed to see it the way that it was being done. Do you ever consider yourself though? Because you just now talked about like Mike Grosses and shit like that, even back then, and we talking 0405 time, right? But we in 2022 now. Do you ever see yourself as a visionary? Because I think about shit that you did, right? We talking about what the fuck is it? I'm gonna go harder than Baltimore, right? We're talking about that song. And on there, shout out, rest in peace, another Baltimore legend, Jimmy Jones. You did the breakdown of the Watch Out for the Big Girls in there.
Right.
Have you sat down in the last 6-7 months and thought to yourself like, damn, I knew that shit was gonna be a national, because you broke it down in that song. Now I'm gonna go harder than Baltimore is a big hit. You feel me? But Watch Out for the Big Girl right now is fucking national, worldwide. Like Lizzo is making that shit gigantic right now.
Right.
You saw that vision of keeping it 100 with your home team, because that's another thing that we do from Baltimore or from any culture. I won't just say my city. I love my city. We try to fit in, and we didn't take that club sound to other states like a lot of people took their sound to other states. But that's going to another state. Do you see yourself like, I knew that shit was going to be a hit? Like you chose to give that to the world beyond Baltimore.
Let me say this, bro. I'm glad you have the observation and peep the whole crazy energy of that, right? Harder Than Baltimore was so divine. Think of this. Think of what are the odds? Before I did Harder Than Baltimore, I reached out to Tabby Benet and said, yo, we gonna do a video soon. I had no song. All I knew that he was on MTV and that we gonna do a video soon. I didn't have the budget in line at that moment. I didn't even have the song, nothing. I'm like weeks in. of just doing something every week, just wire mixing, going over industry joints and just going. But feeling like this urgency and how essential it was for me to be moving and just creating as much as I could with Boo Man in the studio, unbelievable. And we just moving at that time, right? When we got, one day we in the studio, we listening to Jay-Z. He takes the Kanye joint and he puts his freestyle over top of, it's not I don't think it was a authorized remix. I think Jay-Z was just in a space where he was taking beats and just rhyming over for the love of the culture. And in his freestyle, he says, I'm gonna go harder than Baltimore. Philly gonna say they can't touch the ball. I said, yo, when we got to that point, I said, yo, he was going so crazy. But then he used us as a reference of how hard you go. Nigga, the greatest rapper in the world, the heavyweight champion of hip hop just said, I'm gonna go harder than Baltimore. Yo, do you know the impact that had on my soul and my spirit, bro? Yo, when he said that, I said, yo, it's no way I can ignore what yo just said. And then I knew the urgency came from, I said, if I heard it, who else heard it? I know all the other Baltimore rappers had to hear what he just said. We put we was like, yo, we got 24 hours to come up with the song, bro. Boo Man, he does the beat, not even sure about the beat. But if you really listen to the beat has a Be More Club tempo. It has a Be More Club tempo to the point that even though it's a hip hop beat, if you put a Be More Club beat under it, my rhyme don't miss a beat. Then when I wrote the rhyme, the first day I went to record it, I couldn't get the recording session right. Yo, it just wouldn't come out right. I went home. I'm with, at the time I'm with Lady D. We together, we a couple. We go home. They call it Dee Wilson now. We go home. She tells me, babe, don't stress it. Just get some rest. Now I'm mad because I went to the studio and I felt like I failed this to get this song done. Bro, I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. The whole rhyme is in my head. The whole how I need to go from coming straight from the home of the wire, the home of the realest. 40 days of rain couldn't put out my fire. I'm something like Noah, more like Paul. I'm going to change the game. I'm going to go hard like Melvin Williams, selling my product till I see million. That you can't count, just weigh money. Then take a nice trip, get away. Yo, that was in my head. And I was in my head like, what the fuck? Yo, I was saying so much shit. Then when I went to the second part, about the rape, that was about hometown pride. Then on the third verse, it was like, watch out for the big girl. Like Monique, she a bit too much for me, but I'm going to still smash like Crip. Get in like the harbor, then there. Yo, I'm the shit up in this bitch. It could be worse. It could be first. Yo, I was like, I was spazzing, yo. I was like, it was like an outer body divine experience, I couldn't have crafted that. It was like, It was like God said, yo, check this out. For your faithfulness, here you go. Boom. Coming live from that city, Tupac called the worst city that he ever been to. Imagine what I've been through. Gunfights, lost life, babies dying, mamas crying. Little brothers incarcerated. Little sisters impregnated. Why you think I go so hard? Just to say we finally made it.
That was a fucking time, yo. And you just now answered some shit for me, right? Because I remember that sample. That sample went everywhere after that, right? Right. But you just answered some shit for me too, and there's some business shit for y'all out there.
Right.
You still got credits to that song. You still own that song, even though it has that sample in it. Right. It's rare that you're going to get it. I was going to ask you next, how the fuck did you clear Jay-Z voice? But now you kind of just now told us it's mixtape. So being that that's...
Yeah, all right, so check this out.
You might have just gave niggas a jewel.
Look, before that, Jay said, look, anybody touch my records, man, I'm taking 1,000% of your publishing. I went harder than Baltimore because I felt like he threw niggas an alley-oop.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like life is about risk. It's about gambling. It's about when the risk is worth taking, like you take it. I felt like he did something that he didn't have to do. He could have said anything. He didn't have to say that. And I felt in my spirit, bro, yo, I'm going to go harder than Baltimore.
Mm.
I'm surprised a nigga ain't come out with a song called Philly. Philly gonna say they can't touch the book. Like, I thought everybody was gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, so it was only right I pay homage to Baltimore Club. Yes, it was divine. So to be a visionary, you got to be tapped into something bigger than yourself to be a visionary. Like, you can't say exactly what it is. It's just like the moves. I just knew where to move, and I knew what to say, and I knew what to do, and I knew how to carry it, and it was just working.
A visionary also notices what the time clock is, and that's something that you just now put out there. You just now pointed that you had those 24 hours, and that's very important. Another jewel. That's very important when you're out here maneuvering and working in a certain space. Everything is time, and they say it's perfect timing, but you got to know what that perfect timing, because it could be overtime. Shit. And y'all, you did it within 24 hours, man, and we thank you for that shit. So I got another listener question here, and this was one that I was going to ask you, but I'm gonna give this listener their credit for this question because it's a funny one, right?
Okay.
She wants to know, how did you handle all of the men lusting over your sister when you were bringing her out as an artist?
Well, you got to think. All right, so first, that's a funny ass question. But shout out to Nick Styles, because that's who y'all talking about.
Shout out Nick Styles.
Shout out Nick Styles, one half of Mike Brosses. How do I handle that? The same way I handled niggas lusting over my mother my whole life when I was growing up, playing Little League, and the coaches wanting to be extra nice and shit. The same way I handle old men lusting over my grandmother. The same way I handled, I come from a family full of beautiful women, bro, basically. So this wasn't new territory. Like, I come from a beautiful family, bro. So what you learn to do is be a protector in the right way, with knowing that at the same time that I see beautiful women like they see beautiful women. And, so it's a balance. So it was, of course, it was some situations where, in my younger days, just trying to protect my sister, who knows who's to say who went too far or didn't, but, but yeah, I'm come from a beautiful family. So me handling that was like, it was second nature. I was born into it. I used to hate when certain coaches, trying to look like they try to have my mother hang around. And I'm like, I'm here for baseball, bro. We ain't here for all that. I'm here to rep James Mosier, like, relax, bro.
No, that's real, man. Shout out Nick Styles, man. Nick is one of my favorite artists. I hate
one of the dopest. And I got another little sister named Lyrical. She dope. She dope too.
I don't know how the fuck I don't know Lyrical.
Lyrical Miracle. Y'all need to, man, listen. Lyrical Miracle.
You gotta, we gonna do a whole family fucking interview with you one day. Now listen, y'all. We already knew a Mully Man interview gotta be 18 fucking parts. The history is way too fucking long, and I'm not gonna hold y'all forever, but I do have some things that I wanna get into and I wanna fast forward. But hold me to that. We gotta get another Mully Man interview because it's a lot of history in there, but I want to get a chance to feed into the today. Man, Mully Man is no longer just a rapper. And as he told you, he's been seeing this shit forever. He's been not going to be just a rapper. It was just that perfect timing. So now we have that timing, and that clock has showed you that it's ready. Y'all here, you're managing now. Y'all here, you're fucking, you're on your, it's plant-based. That's considered vegan? Or is it something different?
Yeah, I'm a vegan. So, I've been vegan. I've been plant-based 8 years now.
8 years as a vegan, and you also do health workout plans for people. You do meal plans for people. Tell us, how does this music and this health of the body run so coincides because it looks like you're naturally, it looked like it was a natural thing. And we see it from a lot of rappers that has that intellectual of coming from the block, coming from the streets, and they start getting into their health. And how do those things connect so genuinely for you?
They connected genuinely because I had all right, so first of all, I come from a place that is a genuine place, right? Like Baltimore is like, it's a tough, it groomed you and it shaped you different than most places. It groomed you to a point that they made an HBO special about how it groomed you. That was not just a special, but a hit special on how kids coming up in this environment get groomed and how hard and tough it could be to persevere and overcome. So when you take that same upbringing and you put it in a place of solace, where now, you know, you done seemingly made it out the jungle, but now you're in a place of peace where you're figuring out who you are. Now you're connecting another part of yourself that's not a survival part of yourself, you going within. Like I'm out here in Atlanta and I'm in a real peaceful, I'm a little county called Smyrna, GA. I'm living in this gated community. I'm walking the trails every day. Yo, it was so crazy that I was more nervous in a quiet neighborhood than I was living my whole life with the helicopters, the gunshots, the police, the junkie, the crackhead outside. I was more nervous when I got to a place where I'm hearing like crickets and like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was nothing. It was just pure silence that I adjusted. And then I got to a place of solace and peace where I learned who I was a little more outside of the survival Mully in Baltimore. So I proved to myself I could survive the worst, but then I had to go deeper to figure out who I really was as a person, deeper than survival mode Mully. And when I got into that place, I had a revelation one day. Like I was out here and everything seemed that I planned after the MTV and everything, it seemed like it was started falling apart a little bit, like my team and everything. And I remember having the revelation, be the best version of yourself. That was going to be my answer. And I remember I didn't know what be the best. I didn't even know what that voice meant, be the best version of myself. I remember saying that. Then I just started waking up and giving my best effort to be like, you don't know what to do. You just move on, right? We already talked about, you don't have to know, just move on it. Use your discernment, trust it, and just do all you have in your power that you can do in the moment. I started working out every day. I started eating better. I started taking these walks, and I just started doing that every day. Next thing you know, what's crazy? Lady D Wilson, the same person that told me to go to sleep that I was with back in the day for then when I did Harder Than Baltimore.
For the Harder Than Baltimore.
She asked me, she moves out here. She asked me, she moves from Baltimore. She moves out here. She asked me to go on a fast with her. I do Daniel's fast for 1 week, but I'm also like listening to Dr. Sebi, I think around that time too. I had a miracle happen while I was in the gym. I had got to a plateau where I was trying to get to a certain bench press. I don't weigh that much, but I was lifting a nice amount of weight. Like I was doing 225 like 3 times, but I'm weighing like 145, 150. You know, that ain't bad. But I wanted to get it at least 5 times. Yo, on the first, I was unable to get it before my fast. On the first day of my fast, I do it 5 times, no spot. I freak out. I'm like, how did I just lift that when I haven't been able to do more than 3 with a spot? On my 7th day, I know for sure that I'm not going to be able to lift this weight because I haven't ate what I thought was all the chicken and protein and the meat and everything that I needed. I'm just eating all plant-based foods, but I'm just eating as much plant-based foods as I can, all food of seed. On the 7th day, I did it even easier. And that was Daniel's fast. No matter what book you read, it's just out the Bible. It's the message of what you can do when you tap into a certain level of spirit. Like, you know what I mean? And I learned in that moment that there's so much more to us as far as strength than the way we've been logically taught or been marginalized to think about strength. That when you tap into something, something that makes your spirit stronger and makes your mind stronger, physically, it's something that physically too, because you're eating things that are dense nutrients and give you energy. I tapped into something that like opened up my third eye. My discernment was crazier. My creativity got even crazier. I feel like I took back years on my life. You know, whatever was supposed to be taken away from me, I was getting it back through this revelation. I was still going to be young enough, even at my age, to still do everything I ever wanted to do. So that's how that occurred. And then I realized as I kept going, I came back to the music, and I realized one day my homegirl, Misha, she was on Facebook and she called me Mully. And that resonated with my spirit. I said, you know what? That's my whole movement. At one point, it was Mully Mania because I was back home going crazy. I was literally willing to die for Baltimore hip hop. And you know me, Ty, like I'm a good dude, but I was literally willing to street die for Baltimore hip hop. Going everywhere. But then when I got to Mullyvation, I had ascended to a point where I had already faced the fears of everything that I had been through and the trials and the tribulations. And everybody was saying this, but it wasn't over. Even though in a lot of people's minds, as far as the music thing, it was over. But I realized that I was so much bigger than music. I was the Mullyvation movement. I was here to Mullyvate the world, baby. So for all of my Mully maniacs and all of my Mully maniacs out there, this is for you, baby.
Yo, listen, Mully, I'm gonna tell you one thing about you, man. We laugh and joke, man, because your spirit is just one of those spirits that resonate with everybody, right? But it's genuine. Not only do you have a genuine spirit, you feel me? You're a dope ass MC, one of the dopest MCs, man. And we just wanted you on here to be able to give you that crown that you deserve. You feel me? I'm one of those people that believe in this shit right here. This show is about running realms, and everybody knows a bunch of different realms. You feel me? But you have been the king of your realm, whatever you want to say that realm is. You have been the king of that shit, right? And thank you for allowing us to see the ride. And it's crazy because it's like you're aging backwards. You know, your energy is up. The shit is. I feel like we back on taking another ride, and I feel like this whole Mullyvation and the plant based and the dieting and the health part of your hip hop. I feel like this shit is just starting. I feel like it's a whole new life, and I'm waiting to see you incorporate. I know you got the Mike Grosses right now, and that's what you and sis is moving, but we waiting to see it get even more incorporated together because I know it's coming. And
No. Look, let me say this to you. Godspeed was the first album. Godspeed is the time that we moving on. The fact that we're here and that it's relevant and that it's a topic shows that everything's moving Godspeed. I thank you because over the years, you have been a sincere, honest at every level of who you've been over the years. Just a sincere person. From whatever extreme you was on throughout life, you've always been sincere. And I always tell people, like, that's all you can ask for, that a person be sincere. I appreciate your sincere energy because a lot of people never accept that part of themselves and choose to be who they really are. We are here today because we have chosen to be who we really are versus a facade or a front or a marginalized version of what we was born to be. So we here having this conversation, knowing what we come from. We come from a place that most people don't even make it to the age to share this level of maturity or even get to the mind state, mind, body, and spirit mind state where they even able to share these type of moments. You know, there's some people right now still beefing at our age over nothing. So gratitude. But as far as your question, the other part, so I want to give you your flowers too, because it's deserved. Your platform, you giving me a platform to say what needs to be heard to the people in which you appreciate and show gratitude and love for. And I got gratitude and love for you. As far as how it's moving, bro, I ain't felt like this in my whole career. I feel like more is happening right now than it ever has. If people was impressed by the magazines, if you was impressed by the MTV jams, and you was impressed by the HBO stuff, and you was impressed by me rocking in front of thousands, yo, look at where the culture is right now with the whole world doing the Park Heights strut.
Yep.
I fought my whole life for everybody to be more strutting. The whole world. And now I'm managing. I'm still doing my music because I still love it. But doing artist development, creating, helping people get healthier, holistic health, showing people a better appetite for life. Man, this everything is happening right now in the way it's supposed to happen, brother. Like, and we really just warming up. We really just warming up like that. Man, that's all I can say, bro. We really just warming up, bro. And like for everybody out there that wants to grab something right now, grab that Mike Brosis album, that Mike Brosis Godspeed album. MICBROSIS and Godspeed. It's got nothing but affirmations on there, like 20 something songs of affirmation. I'm gonna tell you this: the double album will change your life for the better. You will listen to that album one time and be a better person by the time you get to the last song. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
Got you. Hey, Mully, I want you to tell the people, because it's people watching this. Some of them is new, some of them is old, but they still want to know, how can they reach Mully Man? How do they get in touch with you? Where do they come talk to you? Whether they want music, whether they want some health, fitness stuff, whatever it is, because he does everything, management, marketing, whatever it is they need from Mully Man. How do they reach you? Please give them your contact on social media tags and stuff like that, brother.
Yeah, all right. So if you want to reach me on Instagram, it's IAM and then MULLYMAN. But if you just go on Instagram and put up Mully Man, matter of fact, by the time you put up Mully, I should be the first thing that pop up, unless they shadow ban me that day, or they trying to, you know how they do with that. On some days I put it in, it don't come right up. On other days it come right in. But I should be the most visible Mully anything on social media if you just start typing that in. MULLY should even come up. I am Mully Man, or Mully Man workout plan. Now I will say this: I'm not the best, because social media really ain't my air. Leave something on the front, on the comment section, to let me know if you DM me and I don't follow you yet. Because sometimes I notice, man, I just answered yesterday some DMs from like 3 years ago. And I was like, bro, I'm sorry. Vibe. I'm just saying this. And some people laugh and some people are like, yo, I know how it go. And so, yeah, say something on the comment section and let me know you DM me, so I can hit your tag and then go check it. And if you want to book me, go to my Gmail, book mullyman@gmail. You could book me for a performance. Me and Nick for performance. You could book me to speak, book me to come do a boot camp. Shoot, if you even want a Mullygram, like, you know what I'm saying? You want a Mullygram for your birthday? You want to do something real slick and special for somebody? Come to me, baby. Yo, the Mullymation is infinite.
Yo, y'all heard what he said, people. Listen, I want to thank all our listeners, subscribers. If you ain't listening and you ain't subscribing, well, if you ain't listening, then you probably ain't heard this. But if you ain't subscribed, your ass need to subscribe. We got 2 YouTube pages, Cards Face Up Podcast and Cards Face Up TV. Both of them get new content. I need y'all to make sure you subscribe to both of them. Also, we are on all of your favorite platforms. I'm talking YouTube, Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon. Anywhere you can hear podcasts, Cards Face Up Podcast is there. And if you just want the easy way to find us, www.cardsfaceuppodcast.com. Don't forget, man, since we on health and wealth on this episode with the brother Mully Man, we're going to shout out my sponsors who sponsored this episode, which is myexpressly.com. Shout out to them over there, coming up with a natural marketplace that offers a selection of all natural and organic products focused on fitness, health, and beauty for all ages, humans and pets alike. go head over there to myexpressions.com. If you're in Baltimore, make sure you stop over there at Content Complex. Tell them Mully, man, and Ty Hill sent you. This is what we doing, man. Peace to the fucking world, and we'll see y'all again next week. Peace. Mully, thank you, brother.